Before we begin, subscribe to the channel and comment where you're watching from. This story starts on the road, but it ends in the past. The number didn't make sense. Daniel Mercer stared at the odometer as the engine idled softly. 412,917 miles. His hands tightened on the steering wheel. This car was supposed to be new to him. Clean title. Low mileage. A quick flip, nothing more. That's what the seller had promised. But Daniel knew that number. He had memorized it years ago. Because it was the exact mileage recorded the night his father died. Rain tapped lightly against the windshield as memory flooded back without permission. The crash report. The closed casket. The unanswered questions. His father had been found inside a burned-out car on a rural highway. Official cause, reckless driving. No suspects. No investigation worth remembering. Except Daniel never believed it. He shut off the engine and stepped out into the cold night air. The street lamp above flickered, casting uneven shadows across the hood. Daniel ran a small garage on the edge of town now. Quiet work. Honest money. A life built far from speed, sirens, and bad decisions. Or so he told himself. He popped the hood. Everything looked immaculate. Too immaculate. That's when he saw it. A faded symbol etched into the metal near the firewall, barely visible unless you knew where to look. His breath caught. The same mark had been found on his father's car. Daniel's phone buzzed. Unknown number. Still fixing cars, Danny. His blood turned cold. No one had called him that in over a decade. He typed back with shaking fingers. Who is this? The response came immediately. The man who sold you that car wants it back. Daniel looked at the odometer again. The number hadn't changed. It never would. Because some roads remember everything. And this one was about to demand blood. Daniel didn't sleep that night. The garage light stayed on until dawn, bathing the car in a harsh white glow. He circled it slowly, like a predator unsure if it was hunting, or being hunted. The odometer remained frozen. 412,917 miles. He pulled out an old metal cabinet and unlocked it. Inside, folders yellowed with age. Insurance papers. Police records. One thin envelope marked accident report. His father's name stared back at him. Daniel spread the documents across the workbench, hands steady now, anger replacing shock. The report was brief. Too brief. No witnesses listed. No toxicology results. No photographs attached. Just conclusions. Single vehicle accident. Excessive speed. Driver error. Daniel scoffed. His father had been many things, stubborn, proud, distant, but reckless behind the wheel was not one of them. He taught Daniel how to drive with patience. With respect. Daniel flipped the last page. Something new caught his eye. A small handwritten note in the margin, almost overlooked. Mileage verified by third party. His chest tightened. Third party meant someone else had been there. Someone official enough to sign off. Someone who never appeared anywhere else in the file. Daniel grabbed his phone and searched the seller's name again. Still nothing. No address. No business license. Like he'd never existed. The garage door creaked open. Daniel spun around, heart racing. A woman stood in the doorway, raincoat soaked, eyes sharp. You always leave the lights on when you're nervous, she said. Mara, Daniel breathed. You shouldn't be here. She stepped inside anyway. You bought the car. That wasn't a question. You said you were done with this life, she continued. Done with ghosts. Daniel looked back at the odometer. They followed me. Mara approached the car, running her fingers along the hood. This model was never sold in this configuration. Daniel frowned. What do you mean? Engine bay's been modified. Reinforced frame. This car wasn't built to survive a crash. She met his eyes. It was built to cause one. Silence filled the garage. Daniel felt the past close in, tightening like a seatbelt before impact. Mara lowered her voice. I checked the VIN. It's been reported stolen 3 times. Always recovered. Always cleared. Daniel swallowed. And the mileage? She hesitated. Every time it reappears, the odometer resets to the same number. Daniel stepped back, as if the car had moved. So my father wasn't the first, he whispered. Mara nodded. And he won't be the last. Outside, a car engine started, then stopped. Footsteps approached the garage door. Daniel killed the lights. In the darkness, the odometer glowed faintly. Watching. Waiting. The footsteps stopped just outside the garage. Daniel held his breath. Mara reached instinctively for the wrench on the workbench, gripping it like a weapon. The darkness felt thick, suffocating. Then a voice. Relax, Mercer. Daniel recognized it instantly. Caleb, he said through clenched teeth. The garage lights snapped back on. Caleb stood in the doorway, hands visible, rain dripping from his coat. Older now. Heavier. But the same eyes, calm, detached, dangerous. You always were dramatic, Caleb said. Your father too. Daniel took a step forward. You knew him. Caleb smiled faintly. Everyone who mattered did. Mara moved closer to Daniel. You're trespassing. Caleb ignored her, eyes fixed on the car. You weren't supposed to open the hood. Daniel laughed bitterly. You weren't supposed to sell it to me. That wasn't a sale, Caleb replied. That was a test. The word hung in the air. Caleb walked around the car, tapping the hood lightly. Some cars don't get old. They get reassigned. Daniel felt his stomach drop. You use them. Caleb nodded. Accidents are easy. Truth is harder. Mara snapped, you killed his father. Caleb didn't deny it. Your father asked questions, he said calmly. Questions about mileage. About routes that never showed up on maps. Daniel's fists clenched. He trusted you. Caleb met his gaze. And he almost exposed us. Silence fell again. Caleb continued, we erase miles. Routes. People. If a road exists, we control what happened on it. Daniel stared at the odometer. And that number? Caleb's expression hardened. A reminder. Every life has a cost. Mara whispered, how many? Caleb shrugged. Enough. Outside, another engine started. Then another. Headlights flooded the garage. Caleb stepped back toward the door. You shouldn't keep this car, Daniel. It attracts attention. Daniel laughed, a dark, hollow sound. You brought it to me. Yes, Caleb agreed. Because part of me wanted to know if you'd look. And now? Daniel asked. Caleb paused. Now you're a liability. He turned to leave. Daniel shouted, my father died in that car. Caleb stopped, just for a moment. No, he said softly. He died because he refused to stop counting. The engines outside revved louder. Mara leaned toward Daniel. We can't stay. Daniel nodded. As they slipped out through the back, Daniel glanced once more at the odometer. 412,917 miles. It wasn't just a number. It was a ledger. And his father's name was written in blood. They didn't speak until they were miles away. Rain streaked across the windshield as Daniel drove without destination, instincts guiding him through back roads and industrial shortcuts. Mara watched the mirrors, counting headlights. None followed. Yet. You should have let it go, she said finally. Daniel's jaw tightened. My father didn't. And look where that got him. Daniel said nothing. The road curved sharply ahead, illuminated only by the car's headlights. For a brief second, the asphalt looked exactly like the night of the crash, same color, same emptiness. Daniel slowed. I remember this stretch, he said quietly. Mara looked at him. You've never been here. Not with this car, Daniel replied. He pulled over. The place felt wrong in a familiar way. No signs. No exits. Just road swallowing darkness. Daniel stepped out. The rain soaked him instantly. He walked a few meters ahead and froze. A small dent in the guardrail. Recently repainted. Mara joined him. That's not coincidence. Daniel nodded. This road isn't finished. She frowned. What do you mean? It exists, Daniel said, but it's not on any map. They use it. Mara's phone buzzed. Then Daniel's. Same message. Stop counting. Before either could react, headlights burst from behind. 2 cars. Fast. Daniel grabbed Mara's arm. Get in. Engines roared. Tires screamed. The chase exploded without warning. Daniel pushed the car hard, muscles remembering things his mind tried to forget. Every turn felt rehearsed, because it was. This road had been driven before. Many times. Mara shouted, they're trying to box us in. Daniel saw it, the pattern, the pressure, the forced error. Just like his father. No, Daniel muttered. Not again. He swerved suddenly onto a narrow service lane barely wide enough for 1 car. The pursuing vehicles overshot, forced to brake hard. Daniel didn't slow. The service lane ended abruptly at an abandoned way station. He slammed the brakes. Silence. Only rain and breathing. Mara stared at him. How did you know? Daniel looked at the odometer. It ticked. 1 mile added. 412,918. Daniel felt sick. They're still counting, he said. Mara's voice dropped. So are we. Daniel shut off the engine. For the first time, he understood the trap. As long as the car moved, the ledger grew. As long as the number climbed, someone else would disappear. Daniel met Mara's eyes. We can't outrun this. She nodded slowly. Then we expose it. Daniel looked back at the road, the invisible one. The road that killed his father. And now wanted him next. They left the way station before sunrise. Not fast. Not slow. Every movement now felt deliberate, measured. Daniel drove like a man handling something alive, something that reacted to motion, to choice. Mara broke the silence. Your father tried to stop it too. Daniel's hands tightened on the wheel. How do you know? I didn't, she admitted. Until tonight. They reached an old overlook above the city. Daniel parked and shut off the engine. The odometer glowed faintly, waiting. He took a photo of it. Then another. If we're going to expose this, he said, we need a record. Mara nodded. And a pattern. Daniel opened the trunk. Inside, taped beneath the carpet, was a thin metal plate. Etched into it were names. Dates. Coordinates. Mara's breath caught. That's a memorial. No, Daniel corrected. It's a ledger. At the bottom, scratched deeper than the rest, was his father's name. Mara whispered it aloud. Daniel closed his eyes. The truth settled heavy in his chest. They didn't just kill him, he said. They kept him. Mara looked at him sharply. What do you mean? They made his death part of the system. Proof that it works. Mara sat back, stunned. This car, it's not just a weapon. It's a witness. Below them, the city woke slowly, unaware of the invisible road stitched beneath it. Mara's phone buzzed again. Unknown number. You can't prove what doesn't exist. Daniel smiled, cold and calm. Watch me. He started the engine. The odometer ticked once. Daniel filmed it. Every mile, he said, is evidence. Mara frowned. They'll come. They already are. A black sedan appeared at the far end of the overlook road. Then another behind it. Boxing them in. Mara whispered, Daniel. He turned the wheel slightly, lining the car toward a steep gravel descent hidden behind overgrown brush. This road isn't on their map, he said. Not yet. Mara's eyes widened. It's barely a road. Daniel met her gaze. So was the truth. He released the brake. The car rolled forward, gravel crunching beneath the tires. Behind them, engines roared in frustration. The odometer climbed. But this time, Daniel was counting too. And for the first time, the road was afraid of him. The descent was brutal. Loose gravel slid beneath the tires as the car fought for grip. Daniel kept both hands firm on the wheel, guiding instead of forcing. Behind them, headlights hesitated at the edge. They didn't follow. Mara exhaled sharply. They're scared of this road. Daniel nodded. Because they didn't build it. The path narrowed, twisting between trees and rock. No markings. No barriers. Just instinct and memory guiding them forward. Daniel felt it now, the difference. This road didn't belong to the system. At the bottom, the gravel gave way to cracked asphalt. Daniel slowed and stopped. The odometer glowed. 412,926 miles. It paused. Then, nothing. Mara stared. It stopped. Daniel felt a chill run through him. This road doesn't count. They sat in silence, listening. No engines. No radios. Just wind through leaves. Mara whispered, your father tried to find places like this. Daniel closed his eyes. He found one. He stepped out and walked a few meters ahead. Spray-painted on a concrete barrier were faded numbers. Routes. Dates. Someone had been here before. Daniel took photos of everything. This is a blind spot, Mara said. Outside their control. And outside their eraser, Daniel replied. His phone vibrated. No message. Just a missed call. Caleb. Daniel didn't call back. Instead, he turned the camera on himself. If you're watching, he said quietly, you don't own every mile. Mara watched him. You're provoking them. Yes, Daniel said. Because now I know where they're weak. They drove again, slowly, deliberately, documenting every mile that didn't register. Hours passed. Dawn broke. At a gas station on the edge of town, Daniel finally shut the engine off. The odometer remained unchanged. Mara smiled for the first time. You broke the loop. Daniel shook his head. No. I found the exit. Inside the station, a TV flickered with morning news. A headline crawled across the screen. Unexplained vehicle data leak under investigation. Mara pointed. That's you. Daniel watched, heart steady. Outside, a black sedan idled across the street. Watching. Daniel met Mara's eyes. They know we found it. She nodded. Then they'll try to close it. Daniel looked back at the car. Let them try. Because now the road wasn't just remembering. It was resisting. The leak spread faster than Daniel expected. By noon, encrypted forums were buzzing. Mechanics posted screenshots. Drivers shared identical mileage numbers from cars they'd owned years apart. Different cities. Same odometer. 412,917. 399,204. 388,002. Patterns. Daniel and Mara watched it unfold from a motel room overlooking the highway. Curtains half drawn. Laptops open. Phones vibrating non-stop. They're comparing routes, Mara said. Unregistered roads. Service lanes. Construction zones that never reopened. Daniel nodded. Invisible miles. Mara swallowed. That's how they erase people. A knock on the door made them freeze. Daniel motioned for silence. Another knock. Slower this time. Room service, a voice called. Daniel checked the peephole. Empty hallway. No, he whispered. The door handle rattled once, testing. Then footsteps retreated. Mara exhaled shakily. They found us. Daniel's phone buzzed. Caleb. You always were good at patterns. Your father too. Daniel typed back. Daniel. He taught me to finish what I start. No response. Instead, the motel TV flickered on by itself. A news anchor appeared, serious expression locked in place. Authorities are investigating a network accused of manipulating vehicle data to cover up illegal activity. Mara stared. They're moving faster than I thought. Daniel felt it too, the shift. When predators stop hiding. Outside, traffic slowed. A black SUV rolled past. Then another. They're tightening the perimeter, Mara said. Daniel packed the equipment calmly. Then we move. To where? She asked. Daniel hesitated, then spoke quietly. The place where it began. Mara looked at him. The crash site. He nodded. Night fell as they drove. The road felt heavier now, like it knew where they were going. As they approached the stretch where his father died, the odometer flickered. Then jumped. 5 miles added at once. Mara shouted, "That's not possible." Daniel's hands tightened. They're forcing the count. Headlights appeared behind them. Too many. Caleb's voice came through the radio, hijacking the signal. You should have stopped when the numbers did, Daniel. Daniel replied evenly, you should have buried the truth deeper. Caleb laughed softly. There's still time to walk away. Daniel looked at the dark road ahead, the memorial he never got to see. No, he said. There isn't. He killed the headlights. And turned onto the unmarked turnoff. The road disappeared. So did they. The unmarked road felt wrong from the first meter. No signs. No reflectors. No maintenance scars. Just asphalt swallowed by forest. Daniel drove with the lights off, guided only by memory and instinct. The GPS spun uselessly, recalculating into silence. This road doesn't exist, Mara whispered. It did, Daniel answered. Until my father found it. The car slowed as the pavement narrowed. Trees closed in like witnesses who had waited decades to speak. Then they saw it. A clearing. Rusting guardrails bent inward. Burn marks still visible in the dirt. A crooked memorial pole with no name, no flowers. This is where they said he fell asleep at the wheel, Daniel said. His voice barely held. Mara stepped out first. The air was colder here, heavier. Daniel knelt, brushing leaves aside. Metal fragments. Melted plastic. And beneath it all, a crushed dashcam casing. His father had recorded everything. They didn't just fake the mileage, Mara realized. They redirected the road. Daniel nodded. Illegal transports. Cash runs. Human cargo. A sound snapped them back. Engines. Multiple. Lights flared through the trees. They followed us, Mara hissed. Daniel pulled the dashcam free. It sparked once, then powered on. A video began to play. His father's face filled the cracked screen. Bruised. Bleeding. Alive. If you're watching this, his father said, breathing hard, they lied. The miles, they used them to erase deaths. To make bodies disappear between numbers. Headlights burst into the clearing. Men stepped out. Armed. Calm. Caleb walked forward slowly. You always did dig where you shouldn't, he said, eyes flicking to the dashcam. Just like him. Daniel stood. You murdered him. Caleb shook his head. No. He refused to stop driving. Mara slipped the data chip into her pocket. Caleb noticed, smiled. Run, he said casually. It makes the numbers prettier. Gunfire shattered the silence. Trees exploded with splinters. Daniel grabbed Mara's hand and sprinted into the forest as bullets chewed the dirt behind them. The dashcam video kept playing in Daniel's mind. They don't count the dead, his father had said. They count the miles. Behind them, engines revved. The hunt had begun. And this time, the road was watching back. The forest rejected them. Branches clawed at their faces. Roots tore at their feet. The roar of engines grew closer, headlights slicing between the trees like searching knives. Daniel and Mara burst out onto a narrow service road, cracked, forgotten, barely wide enough for one car. Daniel hit the ignition. The engine screamed to life just as bullets shattered the rear window. They launched forward. Left. Mara shouted. Daniel drifted instinctively, tires screaming as the car barely missed a fallen tree. In the mirror, 3 black sedans followed, no plates, no mercy. They're not trying to stop us, Mara said. They're hurting us. Daniel recognized the road. His stomach dropped. They're pushing us toward the old tunnel. The tunnel had been sealed after a collapse years ago. Officially unsafe. Unofficially, erased. The entrance appeared like a wound in the mountain. Caleb's voice crackled through the car radio. You really should have stayed ignorant, Daniel. How did you? We own the signal. The cameras. The roads. A pause. Just like your father did. Until he didn't. The tunnel swallowed them. Darkness. Only headlights and echoing gunfire. Debris rained from the ceiling as bullets struck concrete. Daniel pushed the car faster, speed climbing beyond reason. The speedometer flickered. Then glitched. Numbers jumped. Miles added themselves. Mara stared. Daniel, the odometer. They're rewriting it, he realized. Right now. The tunnel began to collapse behind them, controlled explosions. Not an accident. There's no exit. Mara yelled. Daniel saw it at the last second, a maintenance ramp, half-hidden, sharp and steep. Hold on. The car launched upward, crashing through a rusted barrier and slamming onto an abandoned highway suspended over nothing. Silence. The tunnel imploded behind them in a thunderous collapse. They were alive. For now. Mara laughed, shaky, disbelieving. We just outran ghosts. Daniel shut the engine off. The odometer stopped. He stared at it. A single message blinked on the digital display. Mileage verified. Subject identified. Mara went pale. They marked you, she whispered. Daniel nodded slowly. For the first time, he understood. This wasn't about evidence anymore. It wasn't about his father. It was about him. And the road had finally chosen its next sacrifice. Dawn found them parked beneath a dead overpass. Fog rolled low, hiding the highway like a guilty thought. Daniel hadn't slept. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw numbers ticking upward, counting lives instead of miles. Mara worked in silence, uploading fragments of the dashcam data through a cracked satellite uplink. It's encrypted, she said. But not unbreakable. Daniel leaned against the hood, staring at the odometer. It blinked once. Tracking active. They're coming, he said. As if summoned, engines echoed in the distance. Mara froze. We can still run. Daniel shook his head. My father ran. It only fed them. He pulled a wrench from the trunk and smashed the dashboard. Sparks flew. The odometer died, dark, silent. For the first time since his father's death, the car felt free. The engine stopped nearby. Boots crunched on gravel. Caleb emerged from the fog, alone this time. No weapon visible. No rush. You finally figured it out, Caleb said calmly. The system only works if drivers keep moving. Daniel stepped forward. You turn roads into graves. Caleb smiled faintly. We turn chaos into profit. Mara finished the upload. Her screen flashed green. Data's out, she whispered. Caleb's eyes flicked to her, the smile vanished. You think the world cares? He asked. They'll watch. Then they'll forget. Maybe, Daniel said. But not today. Sirens wailed in the distance. Not police. Something heavier. Caleb took a step back. You can still walk away. Daniel didn't move. Caleb sighed. Just like your father. Gunfire erupted from the fog, not at Daniel, but at Caleb. He fell, stunned, bleeding. The other cars sped away, abandoning him like excess cargo. Mara stared. They erased him. Daniel knelt beside Caleb. Caleb coughed, eyes glassy. The miles never stop. Daniel shut the car door behind him. No, he said quietly. They end here. The odometer stayed dark. And for the first time, the road didn't demand a sacrifice. The video went live at 9:58 a.m. Not on the news. Not on any network that could bury it. It spread the way truth always does when it's been starving, fast, angry, unstoppable. Dashcam footage. Hidden tunnels. Odometer resets. Faces blurred by power, but voices unmistakable. Daniel watched the numbers climb on Mara's screen. Not miles. Views. They can't stop it now, she said, voice shaking. It's mirrored everywhere. Outside, traffic slowed. Drivers stared at their phones. Some pulled over. Some cried. Some simply sat in silence, engines idling like they were afraid to move. The road was listening. Daniel felt it, a strange calm replacing the fear that had lived in him for years. Sirens approached again, this time real. Authorities. Media. Questions. But before any of them arrived, a familiar engine sound cut through the air. A single black sedan rolled into view. Daniel stiffened. The passenger door opened. A woman stepped out. Gray hair. Sharp eyes. Who is that? Mara whispered. Daniel swallowed. My mother. She walked toward him slowly, hands visible. I tried to warn him, she said, voice cracking. Your father. He knew too much. Daniel's chest tightened. You knew. She nodded. I helped build the early system. Just data at first. Then, bodies. Mara backed away, stunned. They killed him, Daniel said. Because he stopped. His mother met his eyes. And now they'll come for you. Daniel looked past her, at the endless stretch of road ahead. I'm done running. She reached into her coat and placed something in his hand. A key. They can't erase what's already stopped, she said. But you have to choose. Engines filled the distance again. This time, they weren't chasing. They were closing in. Mara grabbed Daniel's arm. What do we do? Daniel looked at the car. At the dark odometer. At the road that had taken everything. He turned the key. And the engine roared, not to flee. But to end it. The highway was empty. Blocked at both ends. Silent like a held breath. Daniel drove slowly now. No speed. No urgency. The road didn't know what to do with that. Mara sat beside him, fingers trembling. In the back seat, Daniel's mother stared out the window, as if counting ghosts between the lines on the asphalt. The key burned in Daniel's palm. Ahead, the bridge rose, unfinished, forgotten, erased from every map. The place where his father had refused to keep driving. This is where it ends, his mother whispered. Daniel stopped the car at the edge. No headlights behind them. No pursuit. Only cameras. Hidden ones. Watching. Daniel stepped out. He climbed onto the hood and held the key up to the sky. This road feeds on movement, he said, voice steady. On silence. On fear. He smashed the key into the pavement. The cameras blinked. Then went dark. Mara gasped. You killed the signal. No, Daniel said softly. I stopped it. His mother began to cry. Sirens echoed far away, too late to matter. Daniel returned to the driver's seat. He turned the ignition. Nothing happened. The odometer remained black. No numbers. No miles. He smiled. They walked away together, leaving the car at the edge of the bridge, a machine that refused to count any more deaths. Weeks later, highways shut down across the country. Investigations. Arrests. Names erased from power instead of memory. Daniel never drove again. He opened a small garage in a quiet town. Fixed engines. Listened to stories. Mara kept telling the truth. Sometimes, late at night, Daniel stood outside and watched cars pass. Still moving. Still running. But now. Some of them knew when to stop. And somewhere, on a forgotten stretch of road, the last mile remained unwritten.